Hi, my Mercurial mercenaries. Just another evening with me in my studio. Don't feel like you have to watch. It's just another me on life. As I found today with a guy called Dheeraj Bhatt. Apologies if I pronounced your name wrong. Dheeraj Bhatt. A little good-natured back and forth can make the world go round. My mercenaries, this is a little piece to camera. Ostensibly about music, but also about success and failure and everything in between. Because there's a story on the internet. It involves Katy Perry. Now, the point I'm going to get at here is, we'll read the headline. Katy Perry in tough conversations with a record label. What's happened here is that Katy Perry's record label are unhappy with the sales of her latest album. They don't match up to her previous albums, and they have had some harsh words with her. And this made me laugh in a way. Now, I make no claims to be the biggest Katy Perry fan in the world, but I did like her album from a few years ago, Prism. And when I was doing kind of roundups of the year that year, I put Prism quite high. That single, Raw. Look, I listen to a lot of rock and I listen to everything, right? And one of the things that's got me all my life is people kind of slagging off commercial music purely because it's commercial music. People have often criticised me because I've seen the good in songs that I'm not supposed to see the good in. And this even dates back to, I mean, it dates back historically. I can look back at 80s songs now, and songs that even I in my youth didn't hold in particularly high regard, and I can see the genius in them now. But even more recently than that, I mean, still going back a long time, but in the days of Britney Spears and all the boy bands where you had teams of writers, I could see past the prejudices I was supposed to have, and I could see the songs for what they were. And some of those songs are classic songs. Whichever way you look at it, some of those songs are classic songs. And I see that with someone like Katy Perry. And it helps that she's pretty as well, right? I don't make no foibles about that. Probably used the wrong word there, Podrick. I can't get no! I can't get no! But before we read this story, okay, my mercenaries, let's put this into perspective. Just adjusting myself. Let's put this into perspective. Teenage Dream, which was her album from 2010, all right? It has sold, as of 2013, 4 or 5 years ago, it had sold 6 million copies worldwide. And if you remember rightly, it had singles on it. It doesn't matter whether you know Katy Perry or not, just listen to this bit. It had singles on it like California Girls, Teenage Dream, Firework, E.T. I'm not saying I know all of these songs, but Last Friday Night, The One That Got Away. The point here is that Teenage Dream, I'm just reading this, but I do know this because I remember it being reported at the time, and I remember everyone was up in arms. How dare this album be the album that breaks the records? But this is just how it goes. If you write catchy songs and the general public like it, the world is your oyster. Teenage Dream is the second album in history to have 5 number ones from one album after Michael Jackson's 1987 album Bad. So you've got Bad and you've got Teenage Dream by Katy Perry. You've got Michael Jackson and Katy Perry. 6 million sold just for this album. 6 million worldwide tours, album after album, breaking all the records. But anyway, her record label has had a tough conversation with her today. The boss of Capitol Records says he's had tough conversations with Katy Perry following disappointing sales of her latest album, Witness. Perry released her 4th album last June, but despite appearances at Radio 1's Big Weekend and Glastonbury, I watched her at Glastonbury, thought she was good. Hey, bite me. It failed to catch on with fans. It entered the UK charts at number 6. Number 6. After selling 16,153 copies. I like it when they do that, because when people quote figures like that, Katy Perry's album Witness has sold in the UK 16,153 copies. What I like about that is that it's so specific. If you just say, well, if you bought Witness by Katy Perry, if you hadn't have bought it and you live in the UK, This figure today on this site would say 16,152. When the numbers are this small, you can have an impact. And sometimes that gets lost when you're talking about 6 million. To date, it has sold less than 60,000. So it got to number 6 after selling 16,000. To date, I think that means to date, as in today, in the UK, Katy Perry, who's up there with Michael Jackson, has sold only less than 60,000 copies of this album. All of Perry's previous albums sold more than 500,000 copies in the UK. Her bestseller is Teenage Dream, which we've already talked about. We don't need to go into all that. It's an interesting story, said Capitol Records' Steve Barnett. I love her, and I've forged a great relationship with her. He said the 4-year gap between Perry's third and fourth albums had damaged fans' engagement with the star. And so you sit down and have tough conversations with her and her management, he told Variety. As successful as you've been, you learn. Personally, I've learned more from our mistakes than our successes. Well, I mean, we could have life stories about that, couldn't we, my mercenaries? I think that always goes without saying, but we're saying it. And I believe our artists are in the same category as that. What's my point here? My point here is that people don't seem to get any leeway. So, look at it this way, right? I'm a musician. I have in my time released 1, 2, 3, I've lost count, albums, right? And as the Mercurial number 6, I'm still working on my debut album, okay? And my level of success has been such that this is my level of success. And I don't want to downplay that. I don't want to downplay that too much, because even in the conversation I just had with someone who started off having a go at me on my channel, and we still developed a relationship, and that's just one person in the world. And when you're doing these YouTube, people will say to you, well, no one knows I do this for a start. But if I knew anyone in real life who knew I did this, and if they asked me, why do you do this? Someone asked me the other day, actually. Someone on my channel in the comment section wrote, Simon Bradbury asked, I want to ask, I think I'd asked you guys to ask me questions back, but his question was, I want to ask, why do you do these videos? And my flippant answer was therapy. Flippant it may have been, but I was talking to Guitar Struggles the other day, and I think if people who do YouTube videos want to be completely honest with themselves, there will probably be an element of therapy. There'll probably be an element of therapy. But success as a musician, it's always been a hard fought battle. And the people of this generation, the internet generation, the generation that only existed in the age of the internet, they might think, if they're in a band now, they might think it was easier in the olden days, when you recorded a demo and sent a demo tape to a record company. And they listened to it and they went, yeah, this is brilliant. You're signed. Have a few million quid. And the people from the olden days might think it's easier in this age, where you can self-promote, self-publicise, self-print, self-press, just do that into the world, throw stuff out there. And both sides are wrong. It was always hard to be popular as a musician. I mean, supremely popular. It was always hard. It was practically impossible in the days when you recorded demo tapes. And it's practically impossible today when there's a billion bands out there. A billion. When you can walk down a street and the busker on the street is more talented than you are. That's where we've got now, my mercenaries. So anyone trying to make music in this day and age and struggling to break through. And when I formed this channel, when Simon Bradbury asks, why do you do these videos? My original reason, honestly, was to promote my music and to entice you into watching me, to make you want to wonder what my music would sound like. But that, I would say that quickly failed. However, it's still an ongoing process. I'm still hoping to trick a lot of you into it. But what happened kind of by accident was that I think perhaps I just found something else that I'm good at. And I don't want to tempt fate here, because as soon as I say I'm good at something, someone's going to type in the comments, now, you're not. If you think you're good at talking to people on YouTube, you're not, mate. You're shit. Your video sucks. But, you know, what can you do? Be positive. Be more positive. Don't type that comment. Don't type that comment. But, so, what do you call success as a musician? How many records? How many downloads? How many streams? How much do you have to be successful as a musician? And 10 album sales? Not successful, is it? 20? Not successful. 100? No, that's not successful. 1,000? You sold 1,000 downloads of your album. Is that successful? I'd probably... I won't lie to you, my mercenaries. I'd take that and party. 10,000? Is that successful? 6 million! Is that successful? Following it up with an album that sells 60,000 in the UK. What's its sales? Hang on. What's its sales worldwide? That's important. Just bear with me a minute. Okay, I can't find the sales figures, but 60,000 in the UK. And now you've sold 60,000 copies of your album in the UK, and you're having tough talks with your record company. What's my point of this video? What's my point of this video? I just laughed. It's like, oh, that's what the point of my video is. What do you have to do in life to succeed? Because Katy Perry today will feel like a failure, and all the headlines will be, well, here's one such headline. This is from months ago, though, but 7 theories about why Katy Perry's new album is such a flop. So today, it must officially be a flop, and a record company must consider it a flop because they're having tough talks. It's the sort of tough talks that football managers have with their players. You know what I mean? So you record an album, you sell 6 million copies of it, and you rival Michael Jackson's Bad for best sort of album of all time, sales-wise, singles-wise rather. And it doesn't give you any leeway. You don't get. It's like people always say, be careful how high up you go, because the only way to go is down. I said that terribly, but you know what I mean. So for someone like me who's not successful at all, if I fall over sales-wise, professionally, I haven't got very far to fall. This chair isn't very high. But Katy Perry's stool, her stool that she's sitting on, is probably about as tall as the Empire State Building. If she falls off that damn stool, she's in trouble, my mercenaries. 7 theories about why Katy Perry's new album is such a flop. Witness will likely still hit #1 on the charts, but in every other way it's a disappointment. This is Cosmopolitan, my mercenaries. What were the reviews like for this album? Hang on. It looks like Witness didn't review very well. So from day one, people were saying it was a bit of a failure. Back to the story. Perry is currently in the middle of a Witness World Tour, which has fared better than the album it's named after. The lavish, fun-filled show made $28.1 million last year, despite the odd technical malfunction, and is set to hit the UK in June. Perry will also make a debut as a judge on American Idol in March. And Barnett said she'd already started to plot a musical comeback. She has a plan, and we have a plan, and I feel good about it. Holy shit, is this what we've come to? You can sell... So Teenage Dream, Prism sold well as well. That had the Raw song on it. So you got 6 million album sales plus a few more million for the next ones. So multiple million album sales, multiple hit singles, good-looking girl. She's still got a fan base. It even admits here a current world tour is going well, and it's made $28.1 million. And she's gonna be a judge on American Idol. I don't think she should do that. I think that's a bad bad move. If I was a manager, I'd advise against that. Anyway, but she has a plan, and we have a plan, and we feel good about it. There you go, my mercenaries. That's how it is these days then. Release successful album, break records, successful album. Release an album that some people don't like as much. Everything falls apart. You need a new plan of action. If I could advise Katy Perry now, and she wouldn't listen to me, I would just say, just do what you want to do. I mean, it sounds like the record company's threatening her. I hope she wants to be a judge on American Idol. I hope she wants that. I hope she's not just doing that because her latest album failed. I kind of long for the days when people were allowed to make artistic mistakes. Like, because we talked about the first step, which is getting famous in the first place. But there was a time when people were allowed to we're just allowed to try. To put album out after album and have careers. The Rolling Stones have got a load of duffers. Do you know what I mean? AC/DC, a few duffers. Every band that's been around a long time, Aerosmith, whatever, Iron Maiden, whatever. Does that happen in the pop world? It does happen in the pop world as well. You've got long-standing artists who put out duffers. What's my point here? Lost my point, my mercenaries. You should try and keep me on track, my mercenaries. Shouldn't you? My point was, I laughed that Katy Perry's currently getting told off by her bosses for her bad work when she's got more success than any of us could ever hope to achieve in the music world. And that makes me laugh. And in some ways, perhaps it's better to be sitting in this seat because this seat isn't as tall as the Empire State Building. And that is a long drop, isn't it, my mercenaries? Thank you! Until next time. What do you think? Let me know down below. What do you think about this whole thing that I've just been talking about? What do you think? I'm interested. I read my comment. Remember, I read my comment section. I'm quick to do that back, you know? Especially if I've been, you know, doing a bit of that. Okay, my mercenaries. Over and